MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. You know it does not matter who is sitting here, that is for sure. Anyways, today's May the 3rd, which is lovely Tuesday, just in case. Day 123 of the year. Yes, 123. That's 123rd of the year. And only 242 lefting. 242 days left to go. So anyways, how are you? How are the things in the last 23 hours since the last time you and I hung out via video? Hi, how are you? How are things? I hope everything was fantastic. I hope you have a fantastic evening, a happy overnight, whatever the hell you decided to do since the last time that we got to hang together. So hopefully you had some fun times, did some things that you deemed important, and went from there. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from our Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we get to do things at.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
You know, just doing some small infiltration when it comes to RadioBig.fm. You know, just the little typical stuff. You know, nothing important, nothing major as we are doing it. Just hanging and banging over there, doing that kind of stuff. So anyways, what did you do? Did you do anything cool? Did you do anything fun? Did you do anything that you want to talk about? If you are interested in talking about it, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you into our little system here, and we'll take a look around at what you have to say, and then we go from there, move, groove, and all that other kind of fun stuff, all in one giant shop-a-rama in regards of getting all that stuff set up. So you don't have to worry about that side, because that we will do on our end. So as we are talking and as we are doing and as we are moving and grooving and all that other fun stuff, maybe we should start talking right away about what was trending. Yes, let's talk about what was trending in the overnight, because that's always important to discuss. So taking it from the very top, supermodel Pauline Porvoski started an hashtag old and ugly trend to clap back against her ageist haters. So there you go. That was something that was trending yesterday. Also, hashtag Teacher Appreciation Week kicked off on Monday. Several tweets offered free food and beverages to educators, while other tweets promoted funding for American schools. So there you go. So when you have Teacher Appreciation Week, not day, but week, are you supposed to take something to the teacher every day? I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's just a question that I am asking because I want to have a better understanding here, opposed to it just being, how is that supposed to work? because, I understand that, it's not easy to deal with other people's kids. There is no doubt about that. But it is a question to bring up because, one is curious on how that does come about. So don't worry about that one. Anyways, hashtag Don't Worry Darling was trending after a first trailer of the flick started. Florence and Harry Styles dropped yesterday. So so that was going on. And then the Met Gala landed on Twitter's top 10 trends yesterday. So there you go. That was everything that was going on according to the trends. Now, taking you from the other side of the house, let's talk a little bit about this stuff because you might be curious on what was going on. So we can talk about that relatively quick. Let's see if we're talking about the charts. Yes, let's talk about the charts of top 5 songs according to Spotify and iTunes. If we're taking them both from either side, we can do that real quick. At number 5, according to Spotify, was Glass Animals with Heat Waves. At number 4 was Camila Cabello with Bang Bang. At number 3 was Harry Styles as It Was. At number 2 was Jack Harlow with First Class. And at the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, was Justin Bieber with Honest. And then taking it from the other side, going to iTunes, at number 5 was Lizzo with About Damn Time. At number 4 was Three Doors Down with Kryptonite. Hold on. How did Kryptonite make the list again? So something must be going on. At number 3, Jack Harlow with First Class. Oh, hold on. Losing it. And then at number 2 was Harry Styles with As It Was. And at the number 1 spot was Psy with That featuring Sugar from BTS. So there you go. That's what was going on inside of the mix of the music. If you were interested in knowing, so now you know, now I know, and we both know together because I sure as shit didn't know anything about it until we started talking. Anyway, so let's get into this right away. If you are new to the show, let me kind of give you the layout of the land. The land is pretty easy on how it does function. It goes something like this. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what is going on inside of the world of, the world of news, the world of entertainment, the world of everything. Then I come back and we come in and we start talking about the lingo and the bingo of everything that we have discovered there together, and then move from there. It's a pretty easy thing to do. You kind of sit back, we relax together, determine what needs to be discussed, and go from there. I think that's pretty smooth on how we can do that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get the news started right away, and we'll go from there.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. A report says the Supreme Court has voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. Minnesota's Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar tells MSNBC she believes if the report is true, women's rights are being taken away.
If that happens, I think you're going to see repercussions like never before.
Politico says it obtained the initial draft majority opinion by Justice Samuel Alito, who reportedly wrote that Roe must be overturned. The landmark case guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion rights. Alito writes the authority to regulate abortion must be returned to the states. This is not a final decision of record, and it's unclear if the draft will be changed before it's released. In 1973, the Supreme Court ruled that a set of Texas laws criminalizing abortion in most instances violated a woman's constitutional right of privacy. There have been numerous challenges throughout the years to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Healthcare, abortion is healthcare. Abortion, healthcare, abortion is healthcare.
And shortly after the report came out, protesters gathered outside the Supreme Court and yelled their disapproval. More evacuations are happening today from a bombed-out city in Ukraine. Mariupol has been under siege since Russia invaded nearly 10 weeks ago. Meantime, Denmark is set to reopen its embassy in the capital tomorrow. The U.S. hopes to return by the end of the month. An arrest warrant is out for an Alabama jailer connected to a missing inmate. Gabe Gutierrez with more.
The corrections officer had said that she was taking the inmate to a mental health evaluation at the local courthouse, but the pair never showed up, and the local sheriff says that investigators are now looking into whether the pair may have been having a romantic relationship.
The county sheriff says Vicky White is wanted for first-degree facilitating of an escape. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. Russia is planning to hold referendums in the Donetsk and Lugansk regions of eastern Ukraine as early as this month. Meanwhile, evacuation buses carrying hundreds, including women and children, are making their way out of the Russian-occupied city of Mariupol. The UK has announced a further £300 million in support for the Ukrainian military, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will meet with his Danish counterpart on Tuesday to discuss climate change.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Airlines at New York's JFK Airport will have to play catch-up today after a slew of flights were delayed or canceled due to a huge power outage last night. The outage meant TSA workers were unable to screen some passengers. The power came back on late last night, and some international passengers were screened and allowed onto flights. No word yet on what led to the outage. Polls will be opening soon in 2 states holding primary elections today. Voters in Ohio will choose who gets their party's nomination for senator, governor, and other offices. In Indiana, 9 Republicans and 3 Democrats are vying for the only open congressional seat. A bill that would have required California employers to pay overtime to those who work more than 32 hours a week has died in the state legislature. Trey Thomas has the details.
It'll have to wait until next year's legislative session. Last Friday was the deadline for legislative policy committees to send the bill to fiscal committees for consideration, which didn't happen. The California Chamber of Commerce has called the proposal a job killer, saying it would significantly increase labor costs and be impossible to comply with.
The sequel to Top Gun is having its world premiere in San Diego this afternoon. Jack Cronin with the update.
Top Gun Maverick is being shown for the first time in San Diego this week. A red carpet event and fan experience will take place on the USS Midway aircraft carrier, and the movie will be shown downtown as well as to members of the military and their families at Naval Station North Island on Coronado. There'll be online features as well on YouTube starting at 3:30 in the afternoon on the Paramount channels. Part of the sequel for the 1986 film was shot here in San Diego, but the movie was then delayed by 2 years in theaters because of the pandemic.
Gas prices are creeping up to the highest they've been in almost a month. AAA reports the national average price for regular is up to $4.20 a gallon today. That's up a penny from yesterday. Prices fell through much of April, but have been going up almost every day of the past week. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Some stuff going on inside of the world of the news as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So I have a question because I'm always curious. Are you doing anything special this summer? And no, I'm not going to be like, hey, we should probably plan and do this together. That's not the gig. But are you doing anything out of the ordinary? Like, do you have your vacation planned? Are you doing anything? Is there concerns on with inflation that you might be going, well, I'm not sure if I'm doing anything? I mean, I'm just curious. I for some reason this year I feel like my summer will be the quest for peace. And I'm not talking about the Superman 4 movie, just in case. But it seems like the quest of peace will be probably a very highlighted moment this summer for me. Just trying to I found a little town called Peace, and I think I'm just going to go there and hang out for a little bit because I think that that's a great idea. That way I have the quest for peace. Maybe you should do the same. Maybe we should make some kind of arrangement. We'll all go down there at the same time. Wouldn't that be some fun stuff? Hang out and just do some random things. The quest for peace. Anyways, let's start talking about what's going on inside of the hit list because that's why you're here. You're here for some of the stories on what is going on inside of the world of the news, and let's kind of round them all out together. So here we go. Vladimir Putin might be getting ready for cancer surgery and recovery in the coming weeks, then transfer power to the head of Russian Federal Police Force while he is out. This is according to the New York Post is reporting this. Putin would likely only be sidelined for a few days if this happens. Meanwhile, Russian natural gas exports to China are up 60% over last year, thanks to the deal completed in February, stemming the economic pain to European countries cutting ties with Russia over the invasion of Ukraine. So there you go, some information what's going on there. Fortune magazine has reported a detailed deep dive into the mechanics of the financials behind Elon Musk's bid to take over Twitter. For the first time, they report that Musk had personally guaranteed $12.5 billion worth of bank loans for the deal, meaning that Musk's Tesla shares tank. The banks have dibs to any of his assets, including stock, to SpaceX and any other thing that he owns. Worth remembering amid the speculations that hand-wringing about changes that would become and taking place. Remember that Musk still doesn't own the company. There's a lot of due diligence that has to be done, and it could fall through before then. Remember, the date is October the 24th. The deal must be closed by October the 24th. We are sitting here on the 3rd of May still having this discussion of 2022. So let's just make sure that we have that understanding that there is still a pretty big timeline before, this would be coming to path, just in case you did not remember. Anyways, it is 20 minutes past the top of the hour. You are hanging out here on Radio Big and Safety FM. This is the Rated R Safety Show, just in case if you did not remember that. Anyways, Amazon has begun reimbursing employees up to $4,000 a year for medical procedures that require traveling more than 100 miles to obtain, including abortions. The announcement coincidentally came at the same time and the same morning that news was leaked that the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Also, in the healthcare change, Amazon has stopped providing paid time off for positive COVID diagnosis, instead opting for the 5 days excuse absences, but unpaid. Meanwhile, Amazon warehouse workers in Staten Island rejected a unionization effort on Monday. The result is still needs to be certified by the National Labor Relations Board, but everything so far appears to be above board. So there you go. Some things to talk about as we are talking about that. Anyways, more than 100,000 acres of land in New Mexico have been scorched by ongoing forest fires that started back in April 19th. On Monday, local officials ordered hundreds of people out of their homes, according to the New York Times. So far, 6,000 people have left their homes, and more than 170 houses have been destroyed. So that's going on in New Mexico as we speak right now. Anyways, let's get into some other news that is going on inside of the world real quick. I think it's time to do the market beat. Let's go ahead and bring some Johnny Smalls our direction.
Here's your market beat minute for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Equities slipped to the start of a new month and may fall further if the FOMC spooks the market Wednesday. The FOMC is expected to hike interest rates by at least 50 basis points and could go for 75. Even if this interest rate hike is only 50 basis points, the market should expect a hawkish statement from the Fed and a high likelihood for aggressive policy adjustments this year. As it is now, the market is pricing in at least 12 25 basis point hikes by the end of the year, which is enough to put the base rate at the highest level since before the housing bubble burst. Also on tap this week is the NFP report. The economists are expecting another strong month of job gains, with net job creation topping 400,000. The risk for the market is that wages will continue to rise and accelerate, driving inflation throughout the economy. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the market. Imagine returning from vacation not only to find all your stuff missing, but the people who took it laying in your bed. Baltimore's ABC reports that a couple left their apartment in late March, and when they got back, they found that their living room was empty, their kitchen cleaned out, including the cabinet doors, and a few bags of trash was laying around. The only thing left was their bed, which had two people laying in it. The intruders said they had took everything and quickly ran out. Some security footage grabbed pictures of the culprits, but did not identify who the people were exactly that ended up doing it. So imagine that. You go on vacation, you go for the quest of peace, and then all of a sudden you make the discovery when you get back that somebody had overtaken your apartment, overtaken wherever wherever you live. And then all of a sudden, voila, that's the gig. Somebody took all your stuff, and then to make matters worse, they're laying in your bed. That doesn't sound like a good time. Does not sound like a fun time, that's for sure, as we are talking. So there you go. Anyways, let's get into some other things that are circulating inside of the world of the news, because that's what we do around here. We talk a little bit about everything as we are talking. So listen to this. Des Moines economy returns to pre-pandemic level. I'm going to talk about this real quick. The Des Moines returns to pre-pandemic levels after sustaining losses to COVID-19. One event in the Des Moines Farmers Market starts this Saturday and will continue until Sunday, October the 30th.
Throughout the pandemic, we calculate that we lost over 414 events, with a total economic loss of over $330 million.
Greg Edwards, president and CEO of Catch Des Moines, has more people that are taking mini vacations. Greg Edwards, the president, says that the economic impact that tourism has had as well.
Despite the high winds and even some mist and things, they had good numbers all weekend long, and we're back to those economic impact numbers of several years ago where the relays brings in about $12 million.
Greg Edwards says, the president of Catch Des Moines, says that the high school track and field state championships will bring a similar amount of revenue to Des Moines. He says that the Drake relays were a success, and the Des Moines Farmers Market is expected to continue with a good run for the city.
You know, the farmers market draws anywhere from 25 to 50,000 people a week.
So there you go. So the reason that I bring this up is because, of course, number one, the reference of the COVID thing. Number two, the economic changes to the area. Are you seeing something similar? I'm just asking the question because this is something that changes, of course, depending on where you're located. Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff that's going on. Suspects sought in New York Times Square beating. Yes, detectives are looking for a group of people who beat up and stabbed a man near the Times Square. Scott Pringle has more information.
Police say the victim was attacked a little after 3 in the morning last Saturday after getting into an argument with 3 people on 8th Avenue. Police say the suspects punched, kicked, and stabbed the victim multiple times before taking his phone and sunglasses. They then ran off on 44th Street. The victim was taken to the hospital but is expected to recover. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of there. So let's break this down just a little bit more. Pelosi, Schumer react to Roe v. Wade report. The 2 top Democrats in Congress say that Roe v. Wade overturned. It will be an abomination. Michael Kastner has more information.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi issued a joint statement last night that reacted to a leaked report that justices are aiming to reverse the right to an abortion. They say it would be one of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history, and not just on women, but on all Americans. An actual ruling on the case is expected in the next 2 months. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, so you know that this is going to be a hot topic for the next little bit as we are talking. Anyways, New Jersey and New York governors react to the reported Supreme Court decision on abortion. The governors are both New York and New Jersey are reacting to the report that the Supreme Court has voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. Noam Latham has more information.
Governor Hochul says she's horrified by the leaked opinion and says for the sake of women across the country, she hopes this is not the Supreme Court's final opinion when it comes to abortion rights. In New Jersey, Governor Murphy called it a truly dark day in America. He says New Jersey will not go backwards on reproductive rights. Noam Laden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, let's continue a little bit more with what is going on inside of there. So here we go. What happens if Roe v. Wade is overturned? Barricades are up around the Supreme Court right now over the leaked reports. Roe versus Wade will be overturned. NBC's Bree Jackson has more information.
The document, reportedly authored by Justice Samuel Alito, states the inescapable conclusion is that the right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions. While it is not the final word from justices, it is raising concerns.
Both sides of the abortion debate protesting last night and soon after the draft documents was leaked and reported by Politico. It shows that justices are ready to strike down the 1973 landmark decision when they issue the ruling over the next 2 months. If true, abortion would not become illegal everywhere. It would be up to the states to decide for themselves, and many are expected to continue allowing women and to end their pregnancy. So what's your thought process on that, on what you think, on what's going on? Because you know that this is going to be a subject of conversation over the next little bit. We're going to talk about it more. We're going to hear about it some more. The other portion, as we are talking about this, is keep in mind that this is a portion that they're talking about that is a leaked report. Nothing is 100% confirmed. It is a leaked report in regards to what is happening. So I don't know. I think that there's going to be more questions than answers at this particular moment in time. But I think you already know this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So you know that from time to time we get to hang out and we get to talk about a little bit of everything. We get to talk about things that are going on inside of the industry. We get to talk about things that you probably would never expect to sit back and have a conversation about, but these are things that happen not sometimes, but a good chunk of times if we're sitting out there and really talking about this. So, depending on what time you are taking a listen or taking a view of this thing that we're discussing today, you might have realized some of the titling here. And the title is one that might shock you a little bit, so let's not lie when we come to this. The title for today's episode was Sex, Lies, and Safety Programs. Yes, sex, lies, and safety programs. Now, I have to tell you, as I have actually went through the scene and I have had discussions with people, I get to hear, we'll call them stories, because that's what they seem like at times. We get to hear stories of things that occur inside of organizations, and sometimes these things are mind-boggling to me. And sometimes I will tell you that when I listen to some of the things that people have to say, it amazes me the things that occur inside of organizations. So let's kind of start it off. Was in contact not so long ago with an HR representative from a company, pretty large known branded company. I can tell you the brand, and you'll recognize the brand immediately if I do mention it. But I will tell you that they are in the large pharmaceutical sales industry, might be the easiest way to talk about this. So I was having a conversation with the HR person, and they're talking to me, and they're letting me know about some things that actually had happened, and they were not sure on what to do next. So, of course, this particular location had a safety person, and here's the story on how it goes. Come to find out, the safety person was having a relationship with a higher up person that pretty much, we'll say, quote unquote, oversaw them. And the safety person had kept on trying to push to get a particular safety program involved inside of the organization. It had never been approved until now. And what ended up happening was they had changed out the person that the safety person was, we'll say, reporting to, would probably be the easiest way to give that as an example. And their safety program was accepted, which had never been done before. And I mean never, ever, ever, ever been done before, because people thought that it was so crazy. And it wasn't that it was a crazy program. It was just different of what they were accustomed to doing. So this is not the bad side of the story. It was just all of a sudden why the change of heart of this going on after so many years that the safety person had been there. And, you know, what sits back for a moment and you start thinking, well, did the safety person get to the portion that they just got really, really good in the development of this? Or was it something entirely different? Well, come to find out that the safety program was able to be changed based on what the HR person was telling me, was able to be changed because of one thing, or at least the assumption was one thing, and it was that the safety person and the person they were reporting to were having a sexual relationship. Now, keep in mind, both of these people were married, so that makes it even a more interesting story when it comes to this. And I'm not talking about married to each other. I'm talking about married to different people. And all of a sudden, the safety program got approved. The reason why people found out that they were having a sexual relationship was because, well, I guess portion of the sexual relationship manifested inside of the organization itself, meaning inside of the offices of the organization. Now, I can imagine, and this is only me fathoming this, because one would have that thought process that you have this assumption that all of a sudden, because there are less people in the office nowadays, if you're going to do something like that, the odds of you being caught are probably slimmer opposed to slim. So the people were caught. And all of a sudden, these things came to light, or there was some assumptions that came to light. in regards of what had happened. Now, the funny part was they had contacted me because of an interesting question. And it was an interesting question. And the question looked like this. Should they revert back to their original safety program because of what had been found out post-event? Now, think about this. For years, this person was trying to change what was going on inside of the organization, and it was never changed. All of a sudden, a sexual relationship starts developing based on the person that they are reporting to, and the program gets changed out. So, the question, because of the organization and the HR people that were talking to me, was related to, should it be changed back to the original because of now this having what was going on? So, of course, areas of concern were high and low, depending on what it was. Would people talk about this later down the future, that we really had a really good safety program and we changed it to this other thing because of blah, 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 as discussed? So my question to you, or the reason of bringing this up, what do you think? If you were inside of an organization and all of a sudden the safety program was changed out, would you revert it back to the original one if you found out that the people that brought it and approved it were having a sexual relationship together? And there's so many things in there, and I think that what happens with this one is that there's so many emotions that are tied into it. There's so many emotions when you start talking about this. Because here's the gig. When you start thinking about it, it's not that the program previously was good or bad, or the new one was good or bad. It's the emotion of what is brought forward thinking about it. So we could use the perfect example here, or the tie-in. There was not so long ago, there was a pretty large scandal that occurred at a major news channel, and they decided to release a streaming service. Found out during this, prior to the release of the streaming service, that one of the main people was having a sexual relationship inside of the organization. They believe that this has tainted the streaming service and decided to cancel the streaming service little less than 2 months after it came out. So my question to you is, do you look at it in the same fashion? Will the new safety program inside of this potential organization that we're discussing this morning, would it be tainted? Would you have the belief that people would look at it differently? And that's the question. At what time do you separate emotions from what is going on? That is a question that I ask to you. Do you look at the program because it could potentially save lives? Or do you look at it and go, oh, there's this stigma that is already associated to the program because of what had happened previously? Now, that's something to think about. That's for sure. So, don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the Angry Giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Oh, there you go. 42 after. We're hanging. It's Tuesday, baby. Okay, tell me something new. This is Tiger Blood, Wellness, Van Zyke. I love collabs. So this song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, tell me something new. We try to do that Monday through Fridays around here. So if you want to, you're more than welcome on giving a little download on Spotify and iTunes on this one. Thanks to the crew there, Wellness, Van Zyke, and Tiger Blood for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated R Safety Show. You know, if you want to, when we go over to RadioBig.fm exclusively at the top of the hour, if you want to come and hang out, you can do that. We'll play that in full form. We'll play that in full form for you can take a listen on what's going on over there. The other portion is if you do want to hang out on, on what we have going on over there on Radio Big, there's a couple of different ways of doing this. You can go to TuneInRadio.com. That's TuneInRadio.com. And you can actually take a little download of their app, or you can take a listen to their browser. Now, I will tell you, there are thousands of stations on there, but you can come out and help support the Radio Big family if you want to do that when we're over there. And we have a whole plethora of different things. And I'm going to tell you this because a lot of people are not aware of this. But what we do on Radio Big is entirely different than what we do on Safety FM. I just want to make sure that you're clear. So Radio Big is really designed to listen to the different kinds of music that we have going on. Where if you go over to Safety FM, we are talking about all the newest and informative safety stuff that is going on out there. So just so you are aware. So anyways, let's get into it and start talking about some other things. Let me tell you the most important thing that I will ever tell you. And this is nothing related to me. It is something related to something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose life have been impacted by suicide and depression. To hear more information, all you have to do is go to their website at afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. I'm going to tell you real quick, if we're shooting it straight, this is the most important information that we'll ever discuss. There is a stigma to this conversation that we need to make sure that we get away from, that we need to talk about. We need to know the real stories. We need to know how to get help. We need to know how to make a difference on what's going on out there. And let me tell you this, because I'd rather talk about it now than talk about it later. Yes, this is Mental Health Month for people that want to talk about this for a month, and I refuse to say, oh yes, let's talk about mental health for a month. I think that this is a subject of conversation that should be had, not sometime, all the time. All the time. Hands down, all the time, not a month. This should not be, let's design a month for it. No, it should be talked about all the time. Hey, listen, I get it. There's people out there doing work wanting to bring this to path, talk about it, but I think that it should be discussed all the time, not on just a particular month. So there you go. That's what I got. So if you want to know more information, afsp.org, afsp.org. Just some information right there for you. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world as we are hanging and banging on this lovely Tuesday. Should I talk about some of this other stuff that we got going on? Yeah, I think we should, because we have all kinds of time. We have all kinds of time to talk about this. I love when I do stuff that I question within myself. Like, I don't think that you want to hear the news report of what's going on the 29th of April. Something tells me that that's not the information that you care about at the moment. Anyway, so let's talk about this Mo No Mo. Yeah, Mo No Mo. It's definitely a good news to those who'd rather spend our sunny afternoons watching the grass grow than cutting it. A charity is encouraging people not to mow their lawns during the month of May in a bid to help local ecosystems. That's right. No Mow Monday, or No Mow May, better saying, encourages us to keep our lawn mowers in the garage this month, and then take a part of the survey on seeing, what's been growing. The UK charity Plant Life says that the initiative not only gives the opportunity for all sorts of interesting wildflowers to grow, it's also a great way to help bees and other things that pollinate by providing them nectar for them. In 2019, respondents of the end of the May surveyed found that 250 wild plant species, including wild strawberries and wild garlic, was available. I had no idea that I lived in a neighborhood with so many environmentalists. So there you go. And I wouldn't find anything interesting, but I'm sure that I'd lose my kid's bike, several toys, and a few beer cans. So these people are like, I hired to mow my grass. They're still not just cutting it. I have to tell you, I live in one of those weird communities where you have that homeowners association restriction thing where they like to tell you some bullshit that you can and cannot do. I could not imagine what would happen if you go, I'm not mowing for a month because, I'm anti-establishment. Something tells me it's just not going to go over too well.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's have some tech talk real quick. Some tech talk coming your way. MIT engineers have developed a paper-thin loudspeaker. Yeah, developed a paper-thin loudspeaker that can turn any surface into an active audio source, essentially allowing you to convert any room into a concert hall. The thin film loudspeaker produces sound with minimal distortion while using a fraction of the energy required by traditional loudspeakers. The hand-sized speaker, which weighs about as much as a dime, can generate high quality sound no matter what surface the film is bounded on. So when in a concert and the band will have a paper sack instead of the Marshall stack. So there you go. Wouldn't that be interesting? You have a thin wall of paper that can produce some sound. That would be some fun. I won't even tell you about this giant monitor that I have over here, and I'm not talking about a computer screen monitor. I'm talking about a monitor that gives me the feedback of what the sound that's playing. So that'd be an interesting one for sure. Snapchat has created a selfie camera that can fly around and head and follow you while you're taking pictures. The social media giant, which has millions more daily users than Twitter, has unveiled Pixie, a miniature drone that they call your friendly flying camera, a $230 device that can fly off from your hand and follow you for 4 preset flight paths, including floating, orbiting, and following wherever you lead. Describers of the pocket-sized free-flying side deck, Snapchat says the Pixie can find its way back to your hand and land gently at the end of the flight. And those who want more things that they've never asked for, I'd like to show you how to get a hangnail if you're interested in finding out. So think about that real quick. All of a sudden now you're going to have let's just call it what it is. We're going to have something that is going to be able to fly around. We're going to have a versionality of a drone that you can have for somebody to be able to take a picture. And I cannot wait to see somebody do this in the airport and see how people are going to lose their shiznit with that actually going on inside of there. Anyways, before I get too long and drawn out, oops, that's probably already happened. Let's get John Smalls in here with the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022.
Hold on. Did I just tell you the Market Beat? Why would you want to hear the Market Beat again? You just heard the Market Beat a few minutes ago. So I would imagine that you would want to heal probably something else. So let's do that first. Let's do some wellness.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When it comes to longevity and healthy aging, there are a lot of things that make an impact. Sometimes it helps to single out just 1 or 2 things that are important to focus on if you want to start taking care of longevity now. Once adults reach the age of 70 to 75, what is shocking is the amount of morbidity and mortality that results from falling and frailty. This number is a lot higher than most of us realize. Studies continue to show that a person's lean body mass is inversely proportional to their risk of mortality. Based on numerous meta-analysis studies, the hazard ratio for being strong to not being strong is about 3.2 for all-cause mortality. The amount of benefits you can get from resistance training 3 times a week, 30 to 40 minutes, will be tremendously impactful on your level of fitness and ability to live a long, healthy life. For additional information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Art. Walt Disney said, "It's fun to do the impossible." I love that. Think about this. Just a little over 100 years ago, it was impossible to fly. There were gliders and balloons, but self-powered flight was impossible until a couple of bicycle mechanics, the Wright brothers, made it possible. Now, not everyone was a fan of their idea. Their own father, Bishop Milton Wright, preached a sermon that said, if God had meant man to fly, he would have given him wings. Think about that. Orville and Wilbur's own father was on Team Impossible. I'm glad they persevered. It really did change the world. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I guess entertaining is one of those things that I try to be from time to time, if it's all possible. Anyways, 54 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's start talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world as we are talking, hanging and banging. So let's take a look-see. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $57 million jackpot or a $33.9 million cash payout. So if you're interested in playing, there you go. You can do that for the sake of doing so. What else do we have? Do we even want to talk about this? Johnny Depp's talent manager, Jack Wingham, took the stand on Monday. Is this something that we care about? Let's do it. Wingham testified that the actor was going to make $22.5 million for the sixth installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but allegation of domestic violence made by Amber Heard cost him the role. During cross-examination, Wingham did note that the alleged deal had not been made in writing. However, as many know, that Depp has starred in all the Pirates flicks as Captain Jack Sparrow. Worth noting, Heard is expected to take the stand at some point this week, which I am assuming that the multiverse will blow up when it comes to that. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2020, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo blames China for the spread of the severity of COVID-19. He also said the Chinese government stockpiled medical supplies while concealing the virus from the rest of the world. That happened back in 2020. Let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Shirley Burke turns 38. Eric Church, 45. Jewel Hill, 47. Christina Hendricks turns 47. Rob Brydon turns 57. Bruce Hall, 69. And Frankie Valli, he turns 88 today. So there you go. Some birthdays that are going on this lovely day. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I got a ton of them for you today. National Chocolate Custard Day, National Garden Meditation Day, National Lumpy Rug Day, National Montana Day, National Paranormal Day, National Raspberry Popover Day, National Sand Architect Day, National Specially Abled Pets Day, National Textile Day, National Two Different Colored Shoes Day, National Foster Care Day, and National Teacher Appreciation Day. Now, hold on. If she has Appreciation Week, how does she have also a day? That is something to think about as we are talking. What else do we have? Let's see, 56 minutes past the top. Let's give you some whack facts real quick. Due to climate change, allergy season is getting longer and more intense each year. In the 18th century, tornadoes are called twirl blasts and twirl winds. There you go. The Twitter bird official's name is Larry. You can learn High Valyrian language from Game of Thrones, though an online course. Despite the fact that she has her own fragrance line, Beyonce is allergic to perfume. And the word McGivered is inspired by the TV show in the Oxford English Dictionary. And not MacGyvered, it's a McGivered, just in case. So just some information there. That was the spinoff that was made years later. Anyways, that's going to sum it up pretty much for us. Let me give you a random joke real quick, if I may. Follow your dreams, except that one's where you go naked in church. That's probably not a good idea. If you need a phone starter for today, here you go. What to you would be the absolute worst job to have? The absolute worst job to have. If you need something for the water cooler, here's a question in a survey where people were asked to name something in their house that doesn't work. This came in at number 1. What is it? The ice maker in the fridge. Yes, that was number 1. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thank you for hanging out on this lovely Tuesday edition of this show. If you want to come over to radiobig.fm, you're more than welcome on doing so, as we will go live for the next couple hours, doing the things that we do in regard to playing music and all that kind of fun stuff. So we'll have that going over. You can come up over to TuneIn Radio as well, if you would be so encouraged to do so. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we cannot do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. The optimist proclaims that we live in the best of all possible worlds, and the pessimist fears that it's true. Think about that. We live in the best of all possible worlds. Boy, is that something to think about. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.